if we can walk or run or play or dance or see or taste or smell or touch or experience anything, it is such a freaking gift. And after my experience, I am promising that I will never take that for granted again. I really wanted to do this special video talking about what I experienced, because let me tell you, what I experienced was so profound. Like, it is undescribable. And what I will tell you though, is that it was one of the most beautiful, powerful, and profound experiences of my life. And it really has been one of the greatest gifts of my life, because it completely shattered my deep-rooted doubts, fears, insecurities, things that were really blocking me from living to my highest potential. And I just want to give a really special shout out to the Pazio Institute. Man, Dr. Pazio, he's literally changed, even like saved my life in so many ways. Before I started working with Dr. Pazio, I felt so frustrated. Like, my body was holding on to weight, and no matter what I did, I mean, I was eating super clean, I was working out super hard, and I just, like, my body felt so heavy, and it was so hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. I feel like I had to have coffee or else I couldn't function, and like several cups of coffee. And I just felt so frustrated because I knew that something was off in my system. And you know, it got to a point where I was like, man, I know so much about nutrition, I know so much about fitness, I even help people with it, and I couldn't even help myself. My hormones were crazy, my periods were so bad. Like, I mean, it would knock me out. Like, I couldn't function for several days because of how bad my periods got and how crazy my hormones got. My like emotions were just off the charts. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I can't continue living like this. And I was just crying and praying for help. And then I saw Dr. Pazio on Impact Theory, and I was just blown away by his wealth of knowledge in so many different areas. His ability to be an actual MD, as well as have this background in yoga and martial arts at the highest level, training with like the gurus of gurus. And I was just like, he's the guy that I've been like praying for. And, you know, reached out to him and started working with him, and really helped me find out that I had some thyroid issues that were really, no matter what I did, if I didn't support them, I would continue to be really frustrated and, you know, not be able to lose the weight I wanted to, and not be able to feel the way I wanted to, not be able to perform at my highest level. And since I started working with him, like, literally the weight just dropped. I have so much more energy now. My hormones are so much better. My periods are so much better, to the point where I barely even feel them, and they don't like block me from living life. And I mean, that gift is just the best, you know, because at that same time, because my body started feeling better, I started having more energy, then my confidence went up, my ability to be productive went up, the way I was able to show up on film sets and to play the characters that I play in film and TV was able to be so much better. I was better in my relationship, I was better at all the different jobs that I do, and I'm just forever grateful. And so we've been working with him for several months, and then he presented this opportunity of doing ketamine psychotherapy. And to be honest with you, I never thought I would do something like this. I have a lot of friends who've done different things in psychedelics and ayahuasca, and what I appreciated so much is that Dr. Pazio, he just has this like really calming presence. And so even though I felt nervous about it, like just being around him, I felt so safe and calm and comforted. And my fiance Emilio actually went first, so his session was on Monday, and I got to witness it, and I got to be there with him for his consult, an hour consult beforehand with Dr. Pazio. And by the way, the whole week before your session, like, we had homework where we're meditating and we're journaling about why we're doing this, what's the intention, as well as what are the suggestions we want Dr. Pazio to be saying to us while we're in our session. Because when you're in your therapy session, ketamine session, your subconscious is super open. So if you're having him say suggestions to you, your subconscious is really listening, and it can really make some profound changes in your life. And so, we worked with him an hour beforehand to get really clear on Emilio's intention, and then I got to witness his session and be in the room with him and Dr. Pazio. And I felt so deeply connected to my love and my fiance, to the point where I was just sitting there and I was taking some notes for him so that he would have them to remember. And there was many times where it was just I felt it was such a powerful, profound, spiritual experience just to be in that room. And I saw the outcome, what happened when he came out of it. He was so grounded, so present, so powerful in a way that I just had never seen before. And I was like, oh, I want that. I want that, and I will do whatever I got to do that. And I'm sure he's going to do a whole video talking about his experience, but I was just so blown away by the outcome. And then I was then I really decided, okay, I'm doing this. And then I was going to do my session 2 days after. And I felt this calm, peaceful presence after, because I knew I wanted that outcome. But then it was a couple hours before my session, I got all kinds of nervous, you guys, all kinds of nervous. I had so many thoughts in my mind of oh, I don't think you can do this. I don't think this is for you. You shouldn't. I had all these justifications why I shouldn't do it. And I was even sending messages to my friends. I'm hey guys, send me some good vibes, pray for me. and I think because of that, I started feeling even more nervous, because I was feeding into that emotion. And then out of nowhere, I was babe, I don't know if I can do it. Right before, I'm I'm feeling so nervous. And he was trying to calm me down. And then I was oh, I feel I'm gonna throw up. And then I threw up. And not because of anything else other than nerves. And when I was doing that, staring into the toilet bowl after I threw up, I remembered a past pattern that I had. So all growing up, when I was a gymnast, I used to make myself sick so that I wouldn't have to deal with the stress of life as a gymnast, because I was too scared of getting hurt or getting yelled at or not being good enough. And so I was oh, I can feel myself doing that again, trying to make myself sick as a way out. And I was nope, I'm not doing that again. And that little part of me was trying to get out of it, but that deeper part of me was no, you have to do this. And so I was oh, okay, here I go. And even in the room, I was telling Dr. Pazio, I was okay, I'm nervous. And he was that's okay, that's normal. And really just sat with me and really helped me get even more clear on my intention, why I was doing it, as well as the suggestions that I wanted him to tell me while I was under. And then I got into my session. And it was really interesting though, because I had a really peaceful, calm feeling come over me right before, where I just knew this was going to change my life. And then, you have an eye fold and you have a weighted blanket, and he's playing binaural beats, and he is with you every step of the way. He also has shaman training. So along with his MD, along with being an MD, he's also trained in shamanism. And so, from every aspect of physical, energetic, spiritual, all the things, he's there guiding you through every step of the way. And part of my intention of doing it is to gain courage. I said I want to gain courage to be able to be my authentic self without worrying about what anybody else thinks about me. And he was okay, well, if you need courage, then you're going to have to prove that you're worthy of courage when you're in there. And I was oh, dang, what does that mean? And feeling all these fears, but I'm also feeling the medicine, come into me, and I'm starting to feel my body go numb, because ketamine is a dissociate. So when you do it, you really do lose all sense of what it feels like to have a body. And that is really powerful. And, in my blindfold, I started seeing all these things and feeling as if I was going down really fast and going up really fast and going forward really fast. Things that don't even make sense when I say them out loud. But you are experiencing it in a really powerful way, and starting to see different colors and things. And I can't really go into every detail of my experience because it will just sound crazy. But one of the most powerful things that I learned and felt, this is the crazy thing about the experience, is that you can read a book or you can go to a workshop and you can learn stuff, but it's as if if somebody, you can't learn how to ride a bike by just listening to someone tell you how to do it. You actually have to get on the bike and learn how to do it. Same thing with swimming. You can't just tell someone how to swim. You have to actually get in the water and swim and learn how to do it and struggle and learn how to adapt to that. the same thing in ketamine. It's how I feel about life. It's like you can hear all the messages like, oh, you have to let go and you have to surrender and you have to be who you are and trust yourself. And it's like, well, yeah, but with the noise of the world, it's so hard to do that. And what ketamine did for me was allowed me to feel and experience all of it. But I was experiencing as if I was everything, as if I was a part of this big, beautiful, grand design, as if I was the part of the divine. And on a really deep-rooted level, really understood how all the little things that I worry about, my insecurities, my doubts, my fears, like what does my hair look like? Does my makeup look okay? Is what I'm wearing cool enough? You know, all those things. It was like, man, I worry about the stupidest stuff. Like none of that freaking matters. None of it. And my experience was that like nothing else matters. Like none of it even matters except for love, connection, and enjoyment of right now. Because this body and this life is such a freaking gift. And one of the coolest experiences was actually a really hard experience because I went through some stuff that was really hard when I was under. And Dr. Pazio was there saying, because at one point Emilio told me that I was like, get me out, I don't want to be here, it's too hard. And Dr. Pazio was like, no, you have to fight. You have to prove that you're worthy of courage. And in order to have courage, you have to go through stuff and show that you're worthy of it. And so I did. And at one point, it was like as if I lost all, I didn't even know who I was, where I was, what I was, why I was. It was as if I didn't even know if there was anything to come back to. Like if there was this life or this body or my relationships. It was a really strange, like almost really difficult feeling. And then I remember coming back. And I remember saying things like, oh my gosh, I can breathe. I love breathing. Breathing is so cool. Oh my gosh, I can feel my fingers. My hands are so cool. Like, oh my gosh, my tongue, my lips, my mouth, my feet, my toes, my knees, my body. Like this body is so freaking cool. And I'm so sorry for ever judging it because I spent most of my life critiquing and comparing and judging and hating on my body. And one of the most powerful things I learned in my ketamine session was just like, that I will never do that again. That no matter what my body looks like, I will love it for everything that it does for me. And if we can walk or run or play or experience anything, it is such a freaking gift. And after my experience, I am promising that I will never take that for granted again. That this life it's just a miracle. And the fact that we get to have this tool, this intelligence that we get to go through life with and have these experiences with, it's amazing. And to feel what it feels like to not have a body for a while and then to get to come back to it, oh my gosh, it's like you just want to like hold on to and hug every part of you because it's just so freaking cool. And the same thing with your relationships in this world. Like I came out of it the next day just like looking at trees and nature and people, just being in awe of this life. We take so much for granted and we're so desensitized to all of the beauty that is all around us, where now I feel like I can walk down the street and just like feel this deep sense of gratitude for my body, for the ability to move, to walk, to think, to feel, to see a tree, to see a dog running, to kiss someone, to hug someone, to feel loved. Like I just don't think we even fathom what an incredible gift that is. And in my journey, I really realized I had this like download, if you will. I had so many downloads. I use that word. Some people might be like, what does that mean? Just the download, this experiential wisdom within you that was just like, wow, we are all so much more powerful than we know. That everything is connected to everything, that everyone is connected to everyone. And when we can stop worrying about all this stupid shit that doesn't matter and focus on love, connection, and enjoyment of right now, no matter what we're going through. Seeing it from this expanded lens of no matter what crazy thing I'm going through, I get to be here. And there's probably millions and millions and millions of other energies out there that wish that they could be here right now, because getting to experience this life is a miracle. Guys, there's so much that I learned that just I can't even put into words. But what I will say is that I really do think if everyone could have an experience like this, I'm not saying that ketamine is for everyone, and I'm not saying that all help is the same. If anyone is interested in doing a ketamine session, I would highly recommend doing it with the Pazio Institute, because they do it one-on-one, because they do it in an IV. So if something isn't going the way that it should, they can stop it. As opposed to if you just take a massive dose of ketamine, like you're stuck in there and there's no way out. It also, just to know, it's one of the only, it's a psychedelic that doesn't affect your heart and it doesn't affect your breathing. So no matter what, you're gonna be okay. But you will experience some really intense things when you're there. But I needed a one-on-one guided session with someone who I really, really trusted and felt really safe with. And that for me was Dr. Pazio, and I would highly recommend it to anybody else that's interested. I think it can really, it helped me so much with body image issues. It helped me so much with insecurities, with doubts, with fears like that are deeply rooted, that I've done a lot of work on my whole life and I've gotten so far. But what this did for me was like just completely shatter those things. And now the real work is integration, right? You can have these powerful life experiences, but it is work to integrate it into daily life. And so even after my session, it was daily experiences of journaling and meditating. And every time I feel a little bit of like the stress of the world, or I feel like things are going too fast, I can close my eyes, take some deep breaths, and go back to that experience, and it resets me. But I think the powerful work for anyone that does a really powerful experience like this is to do the work and to integrate it, because without that, you've gained nothing. It can be probably pretty easy if you had that powerful experience and then a couple months goes by and you're completely back to square one. But that's if you don't do the work. If you do the work, I can already feel my whole life changed in the past couple weeks since my session, and I am committed to continue living that way. And I promised even in my session, one of the things that I had said when I was still under the medicine was that this realization of like, oh, my voice is really powerful. And Dr. Pazio had said to me in that session, well, you better use it then. And I was like, no, I promise I will. And I think for a long time, I haven't been using my voice. I haven't been speaking from the most authentic place. I've been letting my doubts and fears and insecurities and worrying too much about what other people think about me stop me from being my full, authentic, true self. And what I do know now is that self is really powerful. And I am so committed to living in such alignment and purpose and presence with that, and really seeing through the bullshit and seeing that all these little things that might come up, they just don't matter. You know, a lot of things that I worry about, you know, if like, oh man, that post didn't do very well, or nobody liked my TikTok, like, so what? Who cares? Move on, go to the next one. It's just fun. It's supposed to be fun. Like, this experience is supposed to be fun. And yes, there's hardship. Yes, there's challenges. Yes, the world is unfair. Yes, there's a lot of things that are not right in this world. But if we use that powerful connection that we have with the divine, with our creator, whatever that means to you, we are able to create miracles. We're able to do amazing things. We're able to solve world problems. And that's where I think ketamine and other things like it has a real use in this world. And I'm forever grateful for the Pazio Institute, for all that they've done for me, and especially for allowing me this gift that I got in my ketamine journey. And if anyone has any questions, please comment below, and please share this with anyone you think might need to hear it. I really just hope it helps anyone out there know that there's hope. There's a lot of people that have had a lot of life-changing, life-saving experiences through doing ketamine sessions and other things like it, that has saved them from depression, from mental health issues, from suicide. And so I think it's definitely something to research and look into. And again, I'm not saying it's for everybody, and I'm not saying that just go out and do it, right? It's like really something to think about, really something to meditate and journal and talk to your doctor about, and work with someone that you really trust. But my life will never be the same, and I am forever grateful, and I'm so happy to talk with anybody who's interested. So please just comment below, ask me any questions. Please share this with anyone you think might need to hear it, because I mean, who knows, it might end up saving their life, especially adding a lot of quality to their life. And one final note to know is that when I started coming back, you know, because you really do leave your body in the ketamine experience. And when I started coming back to my body, one, it was that deep appreciation for my body, but I also had this really cool experience where I could see more with my eyes closed than with them open. So like when my eyes were closed, I could have my hands in front of my face, and I could see the outline of my hands as like this energetic like aura around them in this like neon color. And if someone was in front of me, like I could see Dr. Pazio so clearly, and I even saw him with some powerful things around him. I'm not gonna like freak anybody out here on the video, but if I looked below me, I could see, I could just see so many cool things that had so many meaningful messages to me. And I think everybody's experience is different, and it is all personalized to you. Whatever you need, you will get it. But it really is so important to have a really clear intention why you're doing what you're doing. And I will say too, one of the coolest things is that I've battled emotional eating for a lot of my life. And even though it's a lot of like healthy emotional eating, well, I would say that, but like I'll get these crazy cravings at nighttime and just want to eat something. And a lot of times I'll just eat a bunch of celery and almond butter, or like make some crazy healthy concoction. But it's like that feeling of like I hated that I just needed food, like a good amount, a lot of food right before I went to bed, when I know that's not healthy for me. And I would even sneak food, you know, if I was around people or sleeping over somewhere. Like I hated that I did that. And one of my intentions going in there was that to be able to gain the strength, that I was strong and I didn't need food for comfort. And I've been working on that my whole life, and I've come pretty far, but this just like changed me in a really powerful way. Like I don't even have that feeling anymore. And ever since my session, I haven't even needed to do any of that. And I could never get there before. So if anybody struggles with really bad emotional eating stuff or anything like that, addictions, things like that, I think this serves or can serve a real purpose. So it's just something to think about, because that is also just one of the greatest gifts. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped in some way, and I can't wait to hear from you. And I hope I see you in the Hero Habits community and or on the next video.